Hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's for us. It's
not all that long.
all that long, but yeah.
I mean,
we're not exactly, doing this regularly enough to build up a fan base, are we?
Well, I don't know about that. Speaking of which,
what?
Before we forget, before we're swept away on the tides of witty banter and bantering wit, before we're wafted along on the thermal currents of companionship, like a pair of flies on a warm seafront. Before any of that happens,
worst simile ever. Okay, go on.
Before any of that, we're meant to do a shout out, aren't we?
Yes, that's
someone.
right.
Now, do we use the actual name?
I think so. Otherwise, it doesn't really count, does it?
Okay, but we don't give away any.
Well, don't tell them where they live. No,
not the full name and address and website.
No, none of that.
No. Okay. Well, so shout out to Sophie.
Yeah.
Hello, Sophie.
Hello, Sophie.
Hope you're doing well.
And
Jesper.
Yeah.
Hello. Hope you're both well.
Couldn't have been more awkward. But hello, Sophie and Jesper.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. Try and avoid an infestation of bed bugs in the first place. I'm sure you do. I'm sure it's not an issue. It's just a general. What I mean is,
yes.
Don't neglect basic safety precautions.
Indeed.
There are a lot of funny people out there.
There certainly are. I'm looking at one. Right. How are you, love?
Probably best not to leave the house unarmed.
No.
But are you interested in
double glazing? How are you, Will?
In plate steel house protection.
What are you bleating on about?
Guard dogs? No. Anyway, just take care. All right. It's just.
It's a jungle out there.
Not don't let the menace seep in.
Where's this come from?
I don't know.
Okay. Right, How are you?
Because when you do, I'm normally meant to say, and this is a big shout out to Fred and everyone else on
Cromwell Road,
on E-wing, or
right. Okay,
that's if they're in prison or something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, what do they say? These disc jockeys. What
you just say hello. Thanks for listening.
Hello, X and Y.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for being wonderful chromosomes. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
How are you for the 8th time?
Not the 8th time, I don't think. Or did you mean for the nth time? I had a teacher who used to say that.
I've lost interest in how you are. To be honest, you could be dying in a ditch.
For the nth, for the nth time.
For the nth time, right.
Which is a sort of mathematical n. To the power n. Yeah.
Birthday this weekend?
My birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
How you feeling about that?
Not too bad.
55?
55, but of course, as George Orwell said, one of the benefits or pleasures, I suppose you could call them privileges, of getting older is that you can remember things which other people don't who are younger. Well, obviously you do, but I mean, he was thinking of things like.
It doesn't sound like the best pithy George Orwell quotation to me.
Yeah, he's not a cracker motto merchant like Oscar
I know,
Wilde.
but he must have put it better than that.
Yes, he did. I could probably look it up if I could be bothered. No, but there's one piece where he wrote about things, seeing parades or something in his youth, things that you don't see anymore.
Right.
And for us, for our generation, I suppose. Growing up, I really envied people who'd been alive and conscious when the Beatles were alive,
Yeah.
But I mean, the hair of the 60s, it was one of the big breaks, wasn't it? I mean, the Beatles had all had their mop tops, and then it was just the natural look, wasn't it? I mean, even before that, Bob Dylan,
long hair.
Bob Dylan, in 61, 62, pre-Beatles, or pre him knowing anything about the Beatles, he just had his hair sort of I mean, not wildly scruffy, but sort of not really styled, was it?
No. Anyway, George Orwell.
George Orwell.
Is that it?
No, well, yes, but having memory, things like having memories of.
Yeah.
I used to kind of envy my mum and dad because they'd grown up without television. Now, I didn't particularly want to grow up without television.
No.
But they used to go to the cinema in their childhood, I think, once a week.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not every week, but that was pretty much a weekly thing. It was, there was no TV.
No.
One of the reasons why people... But actually, or, being able to remember punk.
I remember there being punks.
I remember
people with safety pins in the nose and stuff around town. Mohicans. And being a bit scared of them.
Sorry.
Will drinking some Dr. Pepper.
Just having a swig.
Doing lovely Foley work for us.
But I do remember Foley work.
You know, on a radio play or even on TV, it's the person who makes the sounds.
Like the...
Yeah, they might put shoes in gravel or whatever, Foley. It's a Foley artist.
What's that? Why? Is it an acronym?
No, I don't think so.
Foley. Made up word.
Yes, it's the missing character from The Wind in the Willows.
Foley.
Hello, Foley.
The little horse.
Named after sound effects artist Jack Foley. There you go.
But yes, the time before...
Phones,
the internet. When there were three...
I think I preferred it.
I don't know.
Pre-internet. I mean, it's handy for some things, but it's annoying as well.
But one thing, they made it harder to... I suppose it's all to do with copyright and protecting artists and so on. Also,
I doubt it.
Also protecting the... Well, I mean, surely that's why they stopped making the ripping or burning of CDs as easy as it was.
Right, this is not being able to record from TV onto DVD you're talking about.
No, well, there is that, but also, used to be able to...
Oh, like just
my last computer, before that I bought about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think you could play DVDs on it and CDs, and with CDs you could then rip it to your computer.
Well, it's all streaming now, isn't it?
And then quite easily transfer that to your phone. And there it was. Well, but streaming you have to pay for, don't you? Or have adverts in with it.
Well, you can illegally stream things, but yeah.
Sorry to be pedantic.
That's all right. Thinking back to the early days of the internet, you used to be able to sort of torrent. Did you ever do this? Like what was it called? Bloody hell.
We're going back to the sort of late 90s of the internet.
Yeah, Pirate Bay and all that,
Oh, I don't know.
Where you could
torrent.
You could download a torrent file which contained, all the music of the Beatles, let's say. And then you'd have it,
And was that illegal?
Yes, it was illegal.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, I don't think it... Well, I think it was eventually, and then they ended up shutting down Pirate Bay and various other things, didn't they?
There's one called Napster.
Napster, that's what I mean, yeah.
Was that
that was it. Yeah.
When that was shut down. And did they have to make new laws? In a hurry?
Well, they must have done, mustn't they? Yeah.
Because that wasn't Be Here Now, the...
Oasis terrible
third album,
yeah.
Didn't that get leaked onto the internet?
Possibly, yeah.
But I don't think it affected sales all that much because not enough people had the internet.
Sure. Whereas now,
if you did, you had a big
chunk. Mind you, I'm saying this, but Lottie buys things. She buys records and things, and because of the vinyl revival, so she buys things.
There's the vinyl thing. Yeah, look that up.
Cut that.
Because I know there's diegetic.
I hope you're all bored at home.
Yeah, getting back to George Orwell.
What? Okay, right.
Well, the enjoyment or the I can't remember how Orwell puts it, but having these memories of times you sort of think, yes, I've got a real memory of that. You'll never experience this, that, or the other.
Okay.
I mean, it might not be nice things. It might be things like the Blitz. I'm sure if people who grew up during the Blitz and can remember walking to school, seeing the rubble house, or remember the end of the war and V Day and VJ Day. have those memories.
What's your point?
Well, I think Orwell's point, and indeed might, but this is one of the consolations of age.
Okay, right, fine.
Something to set against the decay of the flesh.
Yeah, okay.
And it's so, worth bearing in mind. And of course, one should beware, one should guard against, as Gore Vidal put it, mistaking the decay of one's flesh for the decay of the world.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, things,
things change. Yeah, on we go.
And it's always easy to notice all things that are getting worse.
Well, I'm not a big fan of that.
Of what?
That shit.
What shit?
Everything's getting worse. The world's gone to hell.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah,
because it can be very lazy the way some people
lazy.
do it.
I mean, the reason they think that is because they were young, and so
Well, that's I think.
Of course, it was better. You were younger.
That's what I think dear Gore meant.
Right? Yeah.
Don't mistake the decay of one's own.
For all its shams and drudgery, we are lucky to be alive now.
Well. And of course,
we could have been a Tudor peasant,
Indeed.
The best of times is obviously now, yeah.
And I mean, even if you were a Tudor, even if you were the top 5% of society, it's probably still pretty
shit.
grim.
Yeah. Still black teeth. And
I mean, anaesthetics, antibiotics, and the other one that begins with A. That nice man, Lister.
Yeah.
Lister.
That's anaesthetic, isn't it?
No. Anaesthetics is...
Lister was smallpox.
No.
Vaccines?
No. Well, that's another thing. No, there's... And... Antisepsis. Antiseptics. Antisepsis, I suppose.
Etc.
Yeah, because Lister did give his name for that. Yeah, but
before...
Imagine life before antibiotics... Antisepsis, because that greatly increased your chances of dying of surgery, and of course anaesthetics.
Yeah, having to bite on a twig while someone hacks your leg off.
I think leather was usually the one.
Yeah.
One thing that puzzles me is why alcohol wasn't more used as an anaesthetic. I mean, from what one reads about it, accounts of it. They didn't
know, did they?
They didn't encourage. You know that alcohol, the anaesthetic effects of alcohol.
I suppose, yeah.
And get into a dead sleep. Right, saw his leg off now. There we go. We'll wake up with a blinding hangover and no leg.
That'd be hopping mad.
And mind you, it was probably that sort of humour that got them through. So, yes, it's very easy to be sort of lazily nihilistic about how awful things are.
No,
everyone's unfit now. Everyone's up. I mean, I don't know.
Change is difficult and slow, isn't it?
Difficult, slow.
It's like that Gandhi quote, isn't it? When he was asked when he went to Paris or whatever, and he was asked what he thought about the effects of the French Revolution.
I don't think it was Gandhi. I think it was some Chinese bloke. I think it was Mao, actually.
All right. And said it's too soon to tell.
Yeah. And, that was supposedly I've read it. It was when when Nixon and Kissinger went over to China in the 70s as a sort of to Russia.
Yeah.
And sort of, well, mates, how are you falling now? Yeah, communist.
Nixon.
Diplomacy. Yes, I mean, the saint compared to Trump.
To Trump, yeah.
And he was an arsehole and a crook, but at least he sort of...
Yeah.
He knew that there were rules.
Yeah.
Didn't live it. And one of them supposed to have said that to Mao. When you think of the effect of the French Revolution, and he said it's too soon to tell. But I've also read that was through a translator or two translators.
Right. Okay.
And
so it might be lost in translation. Yeah.
Well, and that he might have thought. He said that. He said, "What do you?" He might have said, "What do you think of the effect of the French Revolution?" but the translator thought he was referring to, or he was referring to the 1968, Paris riots, the student revolting, because that was sometimes referred to as a revolution.
Right.
And so he might have thought he
was
referring to that. Yes, and got attached to Gandhi for some reason.
Well, we're all attached to Gandhi.
But there we are. And
he does a great circus, doesn't he? Go on. Mm-hmm. Gandhi Circus. There's a circus, isn't there? Called Gandhi Circus, yeah.
A Gandhi Circus?
Gandey, I think.
EY. I used to know a clown called Gandhi. Well, not know, but... I had dinner with them once. I'm going back about 30 years.
Why did you have dinner with a clown?
Well,
did he throw a custard pie in you?
My partner at the time was doing some clowning.
Oh, okay.
As a part-time job.
Part-time job.
But she was trained with. She was working for this other. This woman had started doing children's parties clowning, and she had enough work coming in that she employed other people, one of whom was my partner.
Oh, right.
That was quite fun.
Trained by Gandhi.
That was how I learnt to juggle. Because she was meant to... Because we had a book, she had a book and everything.
Right, yeah.
I don't think she ever mastered it, my partner.
But you did.
But I did.
Well done, mate.
I can still... I can hold my head up. Anyway, thinking of the past and...
Yes.
Yes. Now, I'm surprised these didn't become more popular than they were. In fact, I hardly knew.
It well, because it's radio, love.
Oh, yes.
What is it? He's holding a book in his hand.
Well, do you remember... I'm sure some of our listeners remember what were called photo novels. Do you remember that?
No.
The 12 episodes of the original series of Star Trek?
No.
No. Well, these were called... I have in my hand an A4-sized book. And as you can see...
Yeah, it's lots of stills from the film.
No, not stills, Dave. I explained this the other night. Stills aren't part of the actual film.
Okay. Are they not? I thought it was just like
stills,
a pause and exported it.
No, stills are posed photographs for publicity. Yeah?
Right.
For publicity. Whereas these are what are called frame blow-ups. They're from the actual, films.
Right, yeah.
In analogue days.
Yeah.
24...
Have a look.
Of course, 24 frames a second.
Why is it held together with electrical tape?
Well, it's because it's a bit tattered and well loved. That was one of the ones. Now I think they came out in about 1974.
So is it the whole script?
It's the whole script with it's set out, as you can see, in an album, a bit like a comic strip.
Yeah.
But rather than speech bubbles. You just have the image and the script underneath. So what you're watching are actual frames from the film itself. Mm-hmm. Now, what on earth is the point of this, you might say? Well, going back to the days before... oh, God, what did I write there?
The Maltese Falcon, but Malties.
Yeah, all right.
Is now
a
homemade soundtrack.
Yes.
How old were you then?
About 7 or 8.
Cute. What did you mean, a homemade soundtrack?
Well, oh God, I might as well tell you that as well. Well, because I remember my dad came home with a couple of these.
Yeah.
I think the first ones he bought were the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca.
Right, yeah, bangers both.
They were indeed, and they were both films that he'd, I think, seen at the cinema as a kid when he was 10 or 11, and possibly on TV since. But, before... I mean, as it's described on the front cover, the Film Classics Library presents the most accurate and complete reconstruction of a film in book form. Over 1,500 frame blow-ups, shown sequentially and coupled with the complete dialogue from the original soundtrack, allow you to recapture this film classic in its entirety. I remember that was the first time I'd seen the word in entirety. Or
Entirety?
Entirety.
Entirety, yeah.
Would you pronounce the R?
Entirety.
Entirety.
Not entirety.
Entirety?
No.
Entirety.
Entirety.
I'm not sure. Yes. I think, yes.
You did ask.
Entirety.
Okay.
Entirety. I'd probably...
entirety.
I'd probably flatten the vowel. But I understood what it was, and so I got to know the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. Through these books, through these images,
right? Okay.
These still images, and of course this was quite because also had comics, and the Tintin books, Did you have them?
Yeah, I loved them.
Really, I didn't know.
I still do love them.
So do I. And the Asterix books.
Did you have them? Never got into them, but
oh, they were very witty.
Yeah.
Very, very funny. So this sort of made sense to me, and also now I think of it, the Mickey Mouse Weekly comic, I've still got a few of those at home. They occasionally used to do a comic strip version of a Disney film.
Oh, right, okay.
And they did one, for example, of 1001 Dalmatians.
101. You're thinking of the Arabian Nights.
It's 101.
Unless they've been breeding like bloody rabbits.
That's because it's 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
And yes, and we had that, and I think they'd do it over a few weeks, to keep you coming back for more. Oh, and the Absent-Minded Professor, that was another one.
Oh yeah, but Jerry Lewis.
No, that's the Nutty
Professor.
Okay. The Absent-Minded Professor is the Flubber. They did a remake of it with Robin Williams. It was called Flubber. But the Absent-Minded Professor, black and white film. I think it was Fred McMurray.
Oh right, yeah. Double Indemnity. I love that you had to say double indemnity twice.
Well, I wasn't sure if I thought I might have said indemnity.
No.
Indemnity.
It
is indemnity.
It is, yeah.
And, so with that, that was a live-action film, or a real people film, as we used to call it.
Right.
To distinguish from cartoon. Is that cartoon, or is it real people?
Okay, right, yeah.
Well, because live action, I suppose, is. Yeah. But how else is... To distinguish between... And, of course, when you had things like the Osmonds, which had a... Well, there was the cartoon.
Yeah. Well, the monkeys, likewise, right?
Did they have
a cartoon, didn't they?
I don't remember them. So.
The Real Ghostbusters.
I've never seen that one. It's another of those.
You wouldn't like it. Other people like it. So.
Oh, yeah, and what am I going to say now?
It's fun. You'd like... Well,
no, but what am I going to say now when you accuse me of not liking things?
Of course, I don't like things. I don't like The Simpsons.
Well, exactly, which I think is the Beatles.
Yeah.
Frasier. I don't think I can be accused of willfully refusing to like things because they're popular.
What else haven't you seen? Back to the Future?
I haven't seen that all the way through, no.
Oh, God.
I have finally seen the first 3 Star Wars films.
Yeah. You didn't understand them.
Well, there's not all that much to understand, was it?
Well, no, that's why I was confused by what you were struggling to understand.
It just didn't seem very interesting to me.
No one was having an existential crisis in it.
Well, no, although there's all that, all that Darth Vader stuff, I'm your father, oh, are you? Well, And at the end he takes his mask off. They have that bloody great long fight, and then only at the very... end, and Darth Vader suddenly seems to get paternal pangs of affection.
Yeah.
He says, no, we can't do it. And I thought, where did that come from?
Well, they'd had various conversations before that point, hadn't they?
I didn't find it convincing.
Fair enough.
Anyway. Yeah, so Back to the Future, Ghostbusters.
I'm trying to think of other classics that you should have really have watched.
I have seen...
E.T.
Yes, I've seen E.T. I saw that twice at the cinema.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I wept both times.
Yeah.
And it was there that I noticed that inanimate objects can sort of have an accent. We've done this.
The milk thing.
The milk. I remember thinking, God, even that milk has a sort of American sound.
Indiana Jones.
No, I haven't seen any of those.
What?
No, I haven't seen any of those.
Why not?
Haven't seen Jurassic Park.
Did you not grow up in the 80s? Why did you not watch these films?
Well, those ones, I did watch E.T. Can't remember how I came to, because I remember thinking...
I can't believe you've not seen Indiana Jones. It's a romp.
It just didn't appeal to me.
I'm too busy watching existentialist fringe films, age 12.
No, I was too busy watching, Brideshead Revisited.
Oh, God almighty.
If there'd been...
Gremlins.
No, I was thinking of going to see that.
It's good.
Because of the...
It's sort of a pastiche of It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, is it? It came along not long after E.T., didn't it? And I remember...
it was in the 80s, yeah.
Well, the early 80s.
Relatively.
Yeah. But I seem to remember E.T., I'd seen E.T. twice. And
you enjoyed it, so why didn't you go and see Spielberg's other films?
Well, I didn't know... Well...
Jaws?
Don't take much notice.
Seen Jaws?
Saw that on telly. It was in my first term at secondary school.
Did you enjoy it?
I watched it all the way through. Didn't exactly have me gripped.
Okay.
It was okay. Remember at the end. The films which really did grip me as a child.
Yeah, go on. What?
Well, I suppose the James Bond film.
Oh, fucking hell, Will.
Oh.
I love that it's too uppity to watch bloody Indiana Jones.
Hang on,
but you watch James
whoa.
bloody Roger Moore being double-taked by a pigeon and think that's great.
Being double-taked by a pigeon?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Bloody Octopussy where he comes out of the sea and drives up in Venice, and then there's a pigeon that does a double-take. It's shit.
That is quite amusing.
It's not. It's awful.
Hang on. But what's your evidence for my being uppity?
I didn't really appeal to me. I was too busy watching Brideshead Revisited.
Well, no,
it's just a bit poncy, isn't it? But then you're watching fucking shit Roger Moore James Bond films.
Oh, so on the one hand, I'm too snooty to watch these ordinary romp popular films, and on the other hand, I'm not snooty enough. I'm too lowbrow.
It's not that you're. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I am saying that. You're a contradiction.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Those two things cancel each other out.
I think your criticism of me is contradictory. More to the point.
The Roger Moore films are bloody awful, as well you know.
They're still...
That fucking Tarzan yell that he does when he's flying through the trees. He's swinging on a vine and they put on bloody Johnny Reismuller's Tarzan yelp.
That's just
awful.
A knowing reference, isn't it? Bit of intertextuality.
They're so bad.
No, you've never liked any of them, though, have you?
No.
You weren't a great one for... Would it be fair to say you weren't a great one for sort of action?
No, I like action. I just don't like James Bond. It's for wankers, James Bond.
That's hardly a...
People who want to be James Bond. Misogynistic prick. The only one I ever enjoyed was License to Kill, Timothy Dalton.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's probably the most popular,
well, that's
isn't it?
When he wasn't really doing all that gadget shit. That nonsense. They're just formulaic rubbish.
They were trying to draw back a bit from the Roger Moore ones had got more light-hearted.
Yeah.
More campy. More like sort of Hitchcock at his lightest.
I don't know about that.
Well, the sort of slightly morbid jokes and...
no, just rubbish
that
jokes.
Sort of.
Honestly, there's a pigeon doing a double take in Octopussy.
Yeah, I know there is. I can remember it now, but it's...
bad. And they just do it with the film. So it's just a pigeon turning its head, but then they crank the film back.
I know.
To make it go, ooh. Oh, there's a man in a car. It was a boat. Fucking ridiculous.
But it's daft. It did, and yet there's the bit at the end which is very tense where there's the nuclear bomb and he's and he's only just with 1 second
by then
left.
I've given up. I'm not interested anymore because there's been a pigeon doing a double take and Roger Moore going through the trees. So I don't care anymore. I'm not in it. I'm not into it.
And then the snake slithers over his leg and he says, "Hiss off."
Oh, God, Will, it's awful. I love that you haven't seen fucking Back to the Future, but you've watched that shit.
I don't see it.
Multiple times. He died laughing, folks.
I thought it was all right. It's
Well,
the
you're
one with...
like, in which case, you're like Jurassic Park. Watch it.
I don't know.
Ah, you're so closed off.
Hardly.
You are.
I don't. I don't think
I've encouraged you to watch Indiana Jones. No, I don't think I'll find the time for that.
I might.
Right, get my Spy Who Loved Me DVD. I want to watch Moonraker again. Fucking rubbish.
I don't know why you're so vehement in your...
It's just frustrating.
your opposition to these things. Over Christmas, I got some splendid DVD presents.
What did you get?
I got the original Universal Frankenstein and Dracula series. The original
Right.
Dracula. I am Dracula.
Bela Lugos.
Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make.
It's rubbish as well.
It's not. It's primitive, all right. It's unsophisticated, but it's quite arty in its way. And the sort of the son of Dracula, and then there's
The second cousin twice removed of Dracula.
Well, then there's Dracula's daughter and
God.
House of Dracula.
Yeah.
And,
Isn't there like Dracula's dog at some point?
But
Isn't there?
By that time,
I think there is.
Possibly. By that time, by the third or fourth
Run out of relatives.
one, they're the son of Dracula. No, it's son of Frankenstein. They did the same sort of thing. There's Frankenstein, then I think Bride of Frankenstein,
yeah.
Son of Frankenstein, Frankenstein and the Wolfman.
Yeah, neighbour of Frankenstein. Postman of Frankenstein.
House of Frankenstein. No, but that's son of
Nodding
Frankenstein.
acquaintance of Frankenstein.
But by the time you get to the third and fourth ones, because they were both the Dracula and the Frankenstein, original Universal, I think they were both 1931. Mm-hmm. And then by the time, about 2 or 3 years between each one. So by the time you get to about 1940, and they're starting to look, they're running out of ideas. Well, they're just repeating ideas, really.
Yeah.
But it's starting to look, quite a lot more sophisticated.
For fuck's sake.
Well, better made. The acting is less stagey. They've sort of realised you don't have to
ham it up,
bellow and so that the people in the back row can hear. And you know who plays the son of Frankenstein?
No, Roger Moore. Based on the face you're pulling. Hello.
No, it's Basil Rathbone.
Oh, God.
The same year, of course, as he first
played Sherlock Holmes
Played.
against the terrible Nigel Bruce.
Well, now that I think we...
Basil Rathbone's all right in it. It's just the other bits. It's rubbish.
The Borgia Pearl, with the blood of 5 more victims on it. Ooh, at least Connor...
I've shot my pants.
At least Connor was one of them.
He's terrible.
Well, I think that's...
We've done this already.
Yeah, I know we have.
Right,
Anyway.
what else you got, Will?
The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, God, are we going back to that? Have you got anything meaningful to say? Or funny?
But the point about these things is, so I got to know them really well.
Yeah.
And, of course, this is pre-video days. We're talking mid-70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
What we used to do with favourite films or TV programmes, we'd record them on audio tape. Not directly, obviously. We just get the little cassette recorder.
Yeah, I recorded episodes of the A-Team onto a cassette.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And we'd put it up, put there.
Yeah.
I'd thrown or wiped them ages ago. But, you used to get bits of... unwanted bits of conversation from the house.
Yeah.
Shh, recordings. Oh, sorry. Oh, what was that we were saying about the Vietnam War? Or, interesting things like that. Oh, well, I don't...
Of great cultural significance.
I don't think it will.
that Watergate affair is...
Oh, my good night. What will come out next? But so we did, and I remember my dad saying, if when one of these films is on, because I think I said, oh yeah, if the film was on, I'd be able to be following it like that, and getting my favourite bits and seeing like that. And my dad said yes, and then if we had it recorded on sound, then we could, by following it in the book and playing this, it would almost be like watching the film again.
Oh.
Well, and that was about
as close as you got.
As close as you could get. But I developed... What?
I dread to think what this is going to be.
I developed, as I am wont to do, a rather strange obsession.
No.
And it was because because these are frames from the actual film.
Yeah.
That goes through that. So when you're watching it, at some point you do, unless you blink, I suppose, you are actually seeing the. Yeah. So there'd be one of these frames that, especially if it's an action sequence. Yeah. You see sort of, things are blurred and the faces are screwed up and you're like that. Or like
this is radio. There's no good saying like that.
And then the first time, I think Casablanca was the first one of these that I watched. And there was I remember being fascinated watching it, looking at the book, watching it, looking at the book, watching it. And there was this one picture where the bloke, quite early on, where the bloke is stopped by the police.
Don't hit the wire on the mic.
Where the bloke is stopped by the police in Morocco.
Yeah. Vultures everywhere.
That scene near that. But no, this bloke gets shot. He's actually a member of the Free French.
Yeah.
But they say, excuse me, may we see your papers? Oh, I don't think I have them with me. And they say, well, you'll have to come with us. Oh, yes, here they are. And hands over his passport or whatever.
Yeah, legs it.
And they say, these papers are not in order, you'll have to come with us. And he runs off and they shoot him. And then they go on and get out the things and it says the Free French.
Yeah.
But there's this picture, another photo. I haven't got it here. That's a shame,
isn't it?
Otherwise, I could.
Our listeners couldn't see it.
Yeah,
like me.
But I'll just do some faces.
That'll help.
But there's this picture where the policeman's sort of still looking down and saying, "You'll have to come with us." And the bloke, I suppose, he's looked off and he runs off. But he's just in the act of starting his run.
Yeah,
and he sort of looks like this.
Okay, like he's having a shit.
No, his face is a bit screwed up. He's sort of gone. He's about to run.
Right, yeah.
And I remember thinking that looked a bit odd. But then when it got to that bit and seeing you watching it, and I did just catch that when his face looked like that.
Yeah.
And it was though, and so that this developed into an obsession with all of, especially action sequences, and so when we had a few of these. The Film Classics Library. There was also Stagecoach, the John Wayne. Yeah. And I remember feeling rather guilty when John Wayne died in 1979.
Why?
Very sad. Well, because I was...
You voted Democrat. Yeah. Okay.
No, but because I knew Stagecoach would probably be on. And it was.
I see, so you were excited.
Well, so I felt guilty. I was very sad that he's died.
Well, not that sad. A bit of a twat. You're such a weird little kid, weren't you?
Look at this one. Humphrey Bogart as Sam Spade slapping
Joel
Cairo, played by Peter
audience,
Lorre.
You can't see this. It's various freeze frames of someone's face being slapped.
That's it, freeze frames.
If you can imagine that.
But so you see, and so,
he's such a weird little boy.
And so
you still are.
Something like
which is
that.
What I like.
I would be, and so I used to spend ages poring over these pages and trying to imagine it in my head. And then when I saw it, so the movement that included that specific image.
That's such a weird kid.
And so what I started doing was with.
Do you still do this?
No.
Okay.
But it was quite intense for a couple of years. But what I used to do was with adverts.
Yeah.
Because they were things which you saw.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
And so I'd watch an advert and then close my eyes and try and retain the image. Especially if I remember there was one where somebody's walking along reading a newspaper and he walks into a post or something.
Right.
So I sort of watched it and he's walking along and there was a sort of, again, it was an action thing, a sort of blurred image.
Yeah.
And then I'd sort of try and keep that image in my head.
Yeah.
And wait for the next time I saw that advert. Try and remember the sort of freeze frame image in my head, and then try and catch it and think, I got it, and saw it in the flowing motion. I suppose yes, it is
one of the maddest things you've said. That
it is rather odd,
and that's got some pretty stiff competition. Yeah,
I mean there was that, and the And
so what? You'd have to hold on to the image for like half an hour until you saw the advert again.
Yeah, well, it might be days or.
Oh my god! What? And you'd have to keep thinking of it.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was by choice. It wasn't OCD.
You sure?
No,
Because it sounds like how you've started. Like, I must have a good image in my head to go from room to room or whatever.
Oh, no, no, that's a different thing.
Is it?
That is
Okay.
OCD.
All right, okay.
And that, odd or even numbers touching things.
Yeah. How many was that?
Don't know. But it
Cured.
But that
ladies and gentlemen.
particular OCD symptom has.
What was the purpose of it?
Oh, there was no purpose.
It was just fun.
I just enjoyed and having. And you'd have thought it might have given, maybe it was the way I came to think about film and. But I'll tell you what I really loved.
Yeah.
Or what was an interesting sort of twist on this.
Yeah.
Was seeing a film which I knew was in the film classics library.
Right.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
I've got that now. I recently bought these. Oh, the joys of the internet.
Have you bought some more? Have you?
2 more of them, Frankenstein and Psycho.
Right.
We never had those. My dad wouldn't have bought the Psycho one anyway.
Don't know it.
Anyway, that was in the Film Classics Library
Right.
series. And I remember seeing that before we had it as a book. And I remember thinking, I wonder how it's, I remember watching it and thinking, I wonder which frame has what dialogue under it and which...
Oh, well.
Well, and I've been reliving this recently.
Right, yeah.
Well, because with Psycho, I've got to know that quite well without ever having seen the Film Classics Library.
Right, yeah.
And Frankenstein, I've seen them both.
Right.
So watching them again, I remember thinking... No,
Has it changed your appreciation of the film?
No, but it's churned up these... It's reminded me of this
These
particular...
2 years of you just staring at a book and staring at a screen. And your mum going, Will?
Well, there was that and the...
Come and eat your dinner.
There was that and the
But Mum,
empty
he's about
swimming...
to get to the bit where he slaps Joel Cairo.
And the exact image of the blurred hand and the contorted face.
Yeah. Did you ever get these on video and then try and pause them yourself
No.
at these moments?
No. By the time video came along...
You were over it?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well and truly. But I think we had we recorded the Maltese Falcon, but then the tape got damaged or something.
Right.
And so we sort of got it was me and my brother and my dad, I think. We just, I persuaded them to all do the, dividing the parts up between us.
No, you didn't. What,
Yeah.
to act out the Maltese Falcon?
Well, and record it.
Oh,
That's
tell
what-
me you've got that still.
No, but that's what I put, yeah. The Maltese Falcon is now a homemade soundtrack.
Oh,
Good Lord.
cute.
But I suppose I suppose I was getting to know films.
I love that they just went along with it rather than
and
going,
film.
well, I've got better things to do than act out the entirety of the Maltese Falcon.
It would have been during the long summer holidays.
Right, sure.
And my dad being a teacher.
Yeah, okay. So he had
Teacher
time.
and my brother, so
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
all there. But yeah, they were pretty indulgent.
Yeah, to say the least.
And of course, I cast myself as Humphrey
Of course,
Bogart.
you're Sam Spade, yeah.
And nearly all the big parts. I remember at one point my dad saying, come on, you can't play all these parts. It'll just be you talking to yourself.
No change there.
Another obsession of mine was getting on and off trains while they were moving.
What?
Getting on and off trains
What about it?
while they were moving. I was just fascinated by it. And that was one reason I liked steam trains, because they seemed to... They didn't seem to gather speed so quickly. So you could
But
probably...
of course you used to be able to do that, didn't you?
Well, yes, when it was old slam door trains.
You can't do that anymore, do
Uh,
you? Sorry,
so-
in what way were you obsessed with jumping on and off trains?
Well, not getting on and off them. Because it happened twice in the first episode of the series Going Straight. Anyway, I think that was what set it off. But then any time I saw...
But how did this manifest itself? Did you try and run
No. I
onto
didn't.
trains?
No. I just like thinking about it.
Fucking hell.
And if it happened in a... Well, it was like a bit like a bit of nudity in a film or something, in later times. Or if you were really keen on, dance. Then if there's a dance sequence in a film, then you'd probably... For me, it was...
Just someone getting on a train?
while it was moving.
Okay.
Or getting off.
Happens quite a lot in old films, doesn't
In
it?
old films, yeah. But, so there was that. Yeah, and I used to
Your
like...
poor parents.
That was, I used to like...
What was your brother doing while you were doing this?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Studying.
Yeah.
Playing sports.
Yeah.
Reading.
Interacting with other humans, yeah. Okay.
Possibly. But I used to love, if there was a park, with a roundabout.
Yeah.
Because that, I'd set it going slowly and then I could pretend it was a train. I was 7, 8, 9 here.
Oh, no, it's sweet. I'm mad, but sweet.
Okay, well... If everything is working, we should be able to have this Zoom interview. Well, you're going to do the interview,
right?
Okay.
With who?
It's with her name is Lily Cholic.
Lily Cholic, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
who is she, love?
Well, she's an American writer, published author. She writes about culture, pop culture.
Yeah.
She loves her 60s, 70s sort of American pop culture. I just happened to Facebook message her about an article she'd written that I thought was quite interesting. She got back in touch, and she's actually had a book published. And and she's agreed to come on here.
Okay, that's good.
For free. And do a little
lovely
interview about it. Now, she's quite, I wouldn't say insistent. She's asked, and I agree with her, that it would be best if you interviewed her.
Okay, why?
Okay, well...
Is this going to annoy me?
No. Okay. I hope not. She thought it would be best, because we, I know quite a lot about these... She's written a book about these two... writers who are not exactly the same age, Jean Didyman and Eva Blabley.
Right. I've never heard of either of them.
Well, they were both writers, journalists. They also wrote fiction.
Okay.
But they were very sort of plugged into the California, the LA scene.
Yeah.
Artistically, socially. They hung out with film stars and pop stars and so on. Okay, so, I know quite a lot about that sort of stuff myself. She thought it would be more interesting.
What are you going to do while I'm talking to her?
Well, I'll bugger off. I might say hello.
Right.
And then, okay, but then I'll just leave you to it. So if you're okay to, it's okay that you're coming to this fresh.
Yeah.
Don't, You'll be polite.
I'll be polite. I'm a bit worried, but okay.
Why are you worried?
Because normally every guest that you bring on is annoying.
Would you say so?
And has, what I would call extremist views.
No.
Okay.
Nothing extremist.
All right, fine.
Okay.
So I'm zooming in now. Yeah.
This is Lily Cholic. I'll bugger off.
All right.
I'll make some tea. Okay.
Okay.
Should be
See
there.
a bit, dude.
Okay.
Okay, it's ringing, and here she is. Hello.
Hello, my name's Lily Cholic. It's not Lily Cholic. Some colics are colics, but I'm a colic.
Okay, it's good to talk to you.
So you are David?
I'm Dave, yeah.
Dave or David?
Dave, please.
Dave, hi. So Will has kind of briefed you on this?
Well, ish, yeah.
Okay. Well, my book, it's called Didyman, Blabley, and Me. And it's basically about these two writers, Jean Didyman and Eva Blabley, who both told the story of the late 60s and 70s LA scene.
Right.
So, by way of introduction, I'd just like to read you the foreword to my book, okay? Which I'll give the details later.
Yeah,
all right?
Fine, yeah.
As an aspiring literary girl nerd in my teens, I had a problem. A problem, reader? I hear you. Call yourself an aspiring literary girl nerd and you only had one goddamn problem? Okay, reader. When I said I had a problem, I didn't mean it was the only problem I had. I'm not a superhero. I had a whole bunch of problems in my teens. I also had privilege, of course, a whole world of privilege, but I barely knew it because privilege blindness was one of my problems. But that's a whole other book, literally. What I'm saying basically is this: reader, don't be a baby. My problem was, takes deep breath, I wasn't into Jean Didyman. I know. Shame is something women get dumped on them by the patriarchy every time they move or speak or don't speak, but this shame was a whole other level. If you aren't into Jean Didyman, you might as well join the goddamn patriarchy. Wait for the sisters to turn up and parade you through the streets with a placard saying, "I suck at feminism," round your neck. I knew I was bad for not being into Jean Didyman. I knew she was great. I could see she was a great writer. I could even write essays explaining why she was a great writer, but the trouble was, it was all in my head. Sure, I got that she was cool. Cool? My God, she was icy cold steel, as sharp and edgy as her perfect cheekbones, as her laser gaze, as her classic fashion sense. Of course, I appreciated her prose. Sure, I could worship her as a writer, as a woman, as a prose artist warrior who laid waste battlefields full of male writers. But secretly, shamefully, Jean wasn't my girl. I was like a Christian who secretly thought Jesus was not that impressive. I was like a Buddhist who couldn't get past the Buddha's weight issues. I was like a Zoroastrian who... you get the idea. But then one day, I chanced upon a copy of a book in a train stall. A book called, yeah, you know it, Slow Times, Swift Exits. And that was my introduction to Eva Blabley. Eva Blabley and Jean Didyman were the alpha and omega of late 60s, early 70s California. Literally. Jean may have been the start of it all, but Eva was always, where it was going. Sure, Jean wrote the stiletto-sharp, high-contrast, gorgeously austere prose accounts of the age. But Eva wrote the curvy, sloppy, psychedelically colored, freewheeling, bare-assed truth of the age. When I opened that chanced-upon copy of Slow Time, Swift Exits, the first randomly chosen sentence I read was, "So I said to Harrison Morrison, 'What do you think of this ass?' And he looked kind of embarrassed and said, 'Real nice, baby.' And I said, 'Nice? Nice. This ass has blown the world away.'" And that, reader, was all I needed to read. And that, dear reader, is why you're holding this book in your hand. Eva Blabley, the ass that blew the world away. No shit. Period.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you.
Well, that's the foreword.
I don't know who either of those people are, so I don't know, can't really comment.
Right.
But well done, you. Very nicely written.
You see, what got me about not being into Jean, it was like not getting Shakespeare. It was like not getting the Beatles.
Right.
It was like not getting, I don't know, Dorothy Parker. And when I discovered Eva, who'd never been as famous, never done everything, she was mainly known as the girl who was photographed naked playing tic-tac-toe with the great wheel sculptor Marcus Planck. But, you know, she was only 20 years old when she did that.
Right.
And then she, you know, hung out with a lot of the top rock artists.
Right.
She was one of the top rock journalists. And I think that always stuck to her. Whereas for Jean, you know, she was always ice cool.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm really... maybe it's an American thing. I just don't know who either of these people are. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
You know, honestly, why I should care. Sorry.
Before I go, can I just have a word with your friend Will, please?
Of course, yeah. Do you need me to leave?
No, that's okay.
Because I can get him back in on the Zoom call.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, maybe you want to mute it so that, you know, you don't hear what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
However you do that, you know, plug in this...
I'll do something,
whatever.
yeah, okay. So we're just going to hear what Will's saying?
Yeah, well, I don't mind, but I don't think we should...
Sorry, have I upset you? Is that what you're going to say?
Of course not, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, okay. I'll disappear.
So if you... Yeah, hello, Will? Are you there, Will? Will's friend? Where are you? What? Hello? Oh, hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I don't know. I think if I press this button... Oh, you don't know. Yeah. No, he's not really. Well, yeah, I mean, but I thought that was what you wanted. Fresh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, when you said figures, I didn't, yeah. No, I meant 6 listeners. I didn't mean they were in the 6-figure. Yeah, okay, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I won't. No. Yes, but bye. Dave.
Yeah, what's up, mate? You all right?
Hello. Yes, yeah.
Is it going all right? Is she all right?
Yeah, we'd probably... Yeah, I don't think we'll be hearing from her again.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't very impressed.
Oh.
Well, she seemed to have got the idea that I'd said that our listeners were in the 6-7 figure range.
Right.
She did ask about what were our listener figures.
Yeah.
And I said, figures, 6, 7 figures.
I see. Right. So no wonder she went away with that impression then.
Oh, is it time to say goodbye?
It is, love.
Oh, I'm only just getting started.
Oh, I'm sorry, love.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Well, hello, everyone. I mean, good...
Take care.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you, folks. Bye-bye.
Do we do a synchronised?
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everybody.
2, 1.
Bye-bye, everybody.